confirms that it will be Leeds versus Castleford and Wigan versus St Helens. I think the venues and times of those games are to be confirmed, but I believe usually these girls have been kicking off at 2 o'clock on Sundays. Wigan will be playing at Robin Park Arena for their game, so I'll be keen to keep an eye on what happens with that one. But into under-19s grand final, which was the curtain raiser to the Wigan versus Hull game. I missed the first 10 minutes or so of this. I missed Wigan's first try, but then caught the rest of it. It finished Wigan 14, Leeds 12. Leeds were leading at half-time 6-4, and I think they very much deserved that lead. They were the better side in that first half. Wigan just made an absolute ton of errors, coming out of their own field position in particular, early in sets, not playing like they've played so far this year. None of the I don't think any of the halves from either of the sides particularly had great games either. It was kind of the forwards that did a better job, I would have thought. In particular for Wigan, I thought Morgan Smithies and James McDonald were impressive. I think that James Worthington, who played a bit in the Championship for Toulouse earlier this season, scored a great try. Some really close calls on some of the passes from being intercepted that happened in the build-up to that. Wigan finally throwing the ball around a little bit, and Worthington then finished off really, really well. For Leeds, I think that Tom Holroyd looked reasonably decent, I thought, and Muiz Mustafa was a real powerful runner for them. So never took a backward step. Didn't have much subtlety, but off the bench they kind of provided a good bit of impetus. But other than that, none of the halves really stood out enough, I would say, in this game, unfortunately. But Wigan won 3-1 in the end, and made that, I think, it was the 9th academy final in the last 11 years. I think that's and the 9th time that they've won the title as well. So it must be the 10th final, because they lost to Saints in the final as well. But yeah, Wigan really are, the standard bearers at that level still. So I'm very happy about that. Okay. And I know you didn't watch any of that game, Sarah. You got there just as the trophy presentation was being dealt with.
We arrived just as they were shaking hands.
Right, yes, the final whistle went, of course. Yeah. Right. So you got to enjoy the celebrations. The NRL Grand Final. Did you catch any of this one?
No, I didn't.
No, it's not your gig, the NRL. I don't know why we got you on.
It also was being played whilst we were at church, so...
Yeah. Well, if you were able to watch it, you would have seen the Roosters absolutely dominate this match, winning 21 points to 6 over the Storm. We had a couple of people get in touch. Do you want to read through both of those, Sarah, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the game?
Yep, so Rich Wilkinson says, awesome display by the Roosters. To beat the Storm like that takes an epic effort. Tons of world-class talent on show. A quick shout to Cronk, who, when you meet him, is an absolute gent, who is dedicated to professionalism, hard work and being an ambassador for the game. He played with one arm like a true champion. In Super League, we have Zach Hardacre, arguably the biggest fucking numpty Gen Y prick going. Fucking disgraceful.
Yeah, there is a balance off there. I mean, Cronk playing with a broken shoulder. It turns out that Ferguson played the last 15 minutes or so with a fracture in his leg as well. I mean... I struggle to give that bloke too much credit, but you've got to give him some credit for that. Yeah. What did John Hamilton have to say?
John Hamilton said, Roosters raced out of the blocks and looked excellent in the first half. Mitchell and Carey did pretty much whatever they liked. Storm were shell-shocked and showed themselves up with time running out. Addo-Carr must be the fastest player in the game. Cronk put up some terrible stats, but clearly influential and all class in the end. Why didn't someone strap his arm up when he came off? He looked in agony.
Yeah, I mean... he shouldn't have played this game, should he? You have to question how much medication he put into his body, but he marshalled them around the field. Sorry?
Player welfare?
Well, all I could guess is that he's put his hand up to play in the game, Sarah, and whether players should be pulled out of games when they want to play in them. I suppose some of it has to be down to the player in the end as well. And it's a bone injury, isn't it? It's not like a head injury and that sort of stuff.
I'm not really leaning either way.
Yeah. But there's toughness shown, even if there's questions about whether he should be allowed to show it. But it was remarkable. What the Roosters did, Sarah, was just the highest level intensity that I've seen this season, apart from maybe Origin 1, and really what that was able to deliver for them was it meant that the Storm didn't have the function to work out where Cronk was, to work out where they could put pressure and pain on Cronk, because they were so scrambled from the dominance of the Roosters' pack early doors and the relentlessness of it, and they were winning every collision, and they were taking more energy out of Melbourne when Melbourne had the ball than was being taken out of them when the Roosters didn't have the ball. They were winning the energy battle all ends up. Latrell Mitchell was an absolute monster and basically said to Will Chambers, I'm the Aussie centre now, not you, sort of thing. And on the other side, I think of the field for the Roosters, Joseph Manu and Mitch Orbison absolutely protected Cooper Cronk from being in any sort of danger of getting too many tackles having to be made. And then Luke Keary, I mean, he was fantastic. He even set up the Melbourne Storm try. He was that influential in the game with a cut-out pass that was, unfortunately for him, cut out. But really, that shows just how little the Storm were able to create against this amazing Roosters defence. And also, Keary to control the game like he did, to pop up everywhere when the kicks were needed and put in really meaningful contributions, even though the Storm would have known to go at him. That just shows how much he was backed up by the rest of his team as well. But Keary was masterful. Honestly, if you can get the chance to go back and watch it, everyone, go back and watch it, because it was a performance. Like, it was a one-sided game, right, and the scoreline reflects that, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a overwhelmingly entertaining performance to watch, even though I don't particularly like the Roosters.
Yeah.
But well done to them, and well done to Trent Robinson, because he's got a bit of flack after winning a few league leaders titles, minor premierships as they call them over there, and not getting to the big show at the end, and he'd not won a grand final since the very first year he was there back in 2013. So excellent for him as well. What a game, what a performance, and what a season it's been in the NRL actually. Especially the final series. The final series has really reinvigorated my interest in the NRL. So well done to the Roosters. Hats off to them. We had a couple of other results in, Sarah, where people gave some feedback. Do you want to take us through those? Because I've just done a lot of talking.
Yeah, London and South East 32, Wales Dragon Hearts 24. And Tim G says, a fantastic result for a much changed London side thanks to injuries and unavailability. The Dragon Hearts were a big skillful side who capitalised on any LSE error. Once again, it was the performances of hooker Byron Creighton, winger Tej Farrell and captain Todd Pute who gave London the edge. Hopefully back next year, but who knows? So far it's been 6 from 6 since the formation of this side in 2017. And the NCL Premier Division playoff on Free Sport, which was Hunslet Parkside versus West Hull. And Dr. Hideous got in touch to say coverage is still refreshingly low budget, but much improved from the start of the season. The game was great, just 2-2 at half-time, both teams defending well and putting in big tackles. Hunslet opened the second half with a great individual try and were the stronger side, but couldn't get through again. Final score 9-2. He finishes by saying the game was played hard, but in the right spirit, in particular, no arsing around in tackles.
Yeah, that's a positive. Nice stuff there from everyone, rounding out a bit of stuff from across the community game as well. And well done to Tim, leading his London and South East side to a perfect record this season in his first year as the team manager, head coach role. So well done to him. Okay, that is all the results. Some big ones, some less big ones covered. Now we're going to look at the preview and predictions. Okay, preview and predictions now, sponsored by Love Rugby League. Head to Love Rugby League for all the latest news, gossip, opinion pieces, even more stats on the greatest game. And as we know, at the moment, there is a lot of news. Okay, Super League semi-final, Sarah, starts on Thursday, 7:45pm kickoff on Sky for St Helens versus Warrington. How do you see this one going?
I think St Helens will win it. I think it'll be fairly close. I've gone for Saints by 8. I've gone 32-24. I just think that they've got more players that have got more capabilities and more experience of winning big games.
Definitely that, isn't there? I agree. I've gone Saints plus 10. I'd say 20 points to 10 will be the final score. There's certainly question marks over the Warrington halfbacks, even if Brown and Roberts were playing, to be completely honest. And I think once you see off that starting front row from Warrington, Saints have the edge then across the park. And I think they've just got, if you looked at the two sides, they've just got a better player in almost every position across the pitch. I just think they're better, and they've come into some form, and they've managed to freshen up a few of the bodies in there as well, which is useful. But basically, yeah, Saints for me. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as you think it will be. I just don't kind of feel I just don't expect that at this time of the season now that the high scores, but definitely Saints for me.
Yep.
Okay, Friday night, 7:45pm, Sky game obviously as well. I don't know why I'm telling you this, everyone knows. Wigan versus Castleford. Already into 5 figures in terms of tickets sold, and Cass are bringing a huge contingent to fill one end. They're going to be noisy. Hopefully the Wigan fans can fight back against that, but when it's not a Saints game, we rarely do, so we'll see how we get on with that. But I'm going to tip Wigan, obviously. I'm going to go with a let's say 19 points to 12 scoreline. I really feel like Wigan's goal line defence and scrambling defence have been really on form this season and hasn't slipped at all when other parts of the game might have slipped. Those two bits haven't slipped. And I just think we're going to find a way. And plus we've got some magical players in positions that aren't just the pivot positions, Greenwood, Bateman, Farrell, I think, are going to be really hugely important, and maybe even a 20-minute stint from O'Loughlin that'll spark things up as well. I think it gives us a range to our attack that it's harder to prepare for Castleford, and I just think we'll have that edge, and those big games under our belts with big wins a little bit more. Most of this side will have won a grand final, or much of this side, will have won a grand final. Much of this side will have won a World Club Challenge as well. So I'm going to go Wigan for me. What about you, Sarah?
Very similar, actually. I've gone Wigan by 7. I've gone one score more. I've gone 27-20.
I really thought you'd be going Cass.
I think Wigan are going to do it this year.
What, win it all?
Yeah.
So what? How do you see this one going then? Like, how do you think Wigan how do you see Wigan winning it?
Again, I just think Wigan have got the experience of winning games. I think they're a more complete package than Castleford. I think, I know Rob says that, Cass beat Hull and didn't get out of second gear, but I think given the performance of Wigan on Friday against us was pretty shambolic, really, by Wigan, and you've still got quite a few of those key players to bring back in, and I think the team are going to want to do it for Sean Wayne with him leaving,
and of course Bateman sort of Tompkins.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
there's sort of a bit of, it feels like there's a bit of a changing of the guard at Wigan, and I just think that those players are going to want to go